Ma'am Genevieve Dulnuan. What we see on our screen is your presentation. May we request you once again to please stop presenting.
Good morning once again. May we request Sir Edmund Asuncion to please turn off your microphone and also your camera. Thank you. May we also acknowledge the presence of our SDO Quirino officials here with us and also our supervisors joining us in this meeting. May we also be reminded of the webinar protocols, so kindly turn off our microphones and our web cameras all throughout the webinar. Thank you.
Ganda, mali na yung off the camera. Ay, cellphone mo mag-jagin.
Magandang umaga pong muli. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagdalo dito sa ating regional webinar on IPCRF data collection. Kung maaari po, paki-mute po ang ating microphones at paki-turn off din po ang ating web cameras. Uulitin ko po, paki-turn off po ang ating microphones at ang ating mga web cameras. Maraming salamat. May we request Sir Michael Bagilat to please turn off your web camera. Sir Michael Bagilat, please turn off your web camera. Maraming salamat po. May we request Madam Camera, Madam Rowena, your camera please. Pakipatay po. Salamat. Good morning once again. Maraming salamat po at nakaka-comply na po tayo sa ating webinar protocols na off dapat ang microphone at cameras para po i-check ang ating attendance. Punta po tayo sa chat box. Kung kayo po ay taga Aglipay East, paki-type po ang AE. Sa mga taga Aglipay East, paki-type po ang AE sa chat box. Sir Virgilio Quaresma Jr., we can see your screen. You are presenting. Paki-press po yung stop presenting. Maraming salamat po. Ayan, marami na ang mga taga-Aglipay East. Para sa mga taga-Aglipay West, paki-type naman po ang AW. Mga taga-Aglipay West participants, paki-type po ang AW. Ayan, maraming mabibilis. Sir Virgilio Quaresma, kindly turn off your web camera and your microphone, please. Your microphone and your web camera, please. Sa mga ating participants from Cabarogis District, paki-type ang C sa ating chat box. Yan, nauna si Madam Mayor Christine Deza. Sa mga taga Difun 1, paki-type po ang D1. Sa mga taga Difun 2, paki-type po ang D2. Sa mga taga Madela 1 District, paki-type po ang M1. M2 naman po para sa mga taga Madela 2. N para sa mga taga Nagtipunan. At syempre, letter S para sa mga taga Saguday. I-check po natin kung saang mga districts na po ang well represented.
Once again, good morning. May we request Sir Mandy Davis to stop presenting. Once again, may we request Sir Mandy to please turn off your video cam and please stop presenting. We will request Sir Virgilio Quaresma to please put off your microphone, please.
Ayan, kitang-kita po natin, very responsive ang ating participants. Nakita ko na po lahat ng letters ng siyam na districts. So, in a few moments po, we will begin the regional webinar on the IPCRF data collection system for school year 2019 and 2020. And while we are waiting for our colleagues from the regional office, may we again be reminded to please turn off our microphones and our web cameras. Madam Melanie Valerio, you are presenting. We can see your screen. Kindly press stop presenting. Thank you very much.
Ma'am Karen, good morning. Ma'am Karen,
Good morning, Sir Liber.
pwede pong tawagan mo ako sandali, ma'am,
Ay,
please.
sige sir, sige po.
Ay, ma'am, sorry. Hindi nga ako makatawag.
Pantayin mo.
Okay na po yung internet namin dito sa regional office, ma'am Karen. Pwedeng tawagan mo na lang ako via Facebook. Salamat.
Yes po. Thank you, sir.
Ano na yun, if kung to make
Good morning, dear fellow participants. We have maxed at 250 participants na naka-onboard po dito sa Google Meet. May we request some of our participants who are present here with us to please join via the live streaming. Pakiclick po yung chat box. May naipost po doon na link for live streaming so that we will be able to accommodate our speakers to join us on the Google Meet po. Again, kindly use the live streaming link posted on the chat box to join us in the meeting via live streaming po, so we can have room for our resource speakers to join us in the Google Meet. May we also be reminded of the webinar protocols that we need to follow throughout the webinar. Kindly turn off our microphones and our web cameras. Again, kindly turn off our microphones and our web cameras. Maraming salamat po. Good morning once again. May we request some of our participants joining us in the Google Meet to please join us via live stream instead for us to be able to accommodate our resource speakers in the meeting. Thank you very much. Again, may we be reminded of the protocols. Please turn off our microphones. Kindly turn off our microphones and our cameras. Thank you. Good morning once again. We are waiting for some of our resource speakers to be able to join us in the Google Meet. We are just waiting for some slots on the Google Meet to be vacated so we can accommodate our resource speakers. For those who voluntarily left, generously left our meeting, for us to accommodate our resource speakers. Maraming salamat po. Please join us via the live streaming link that was posted on the chat box. Thank you very much. Good morning po ulit sa ating lahat. Again, to remind us of the protocols, may we keep our microphones and our videos or our web cameras off during the webinar, all throughout the webinar. And Mr. Ryan Cabe, you just press presentation. Please avoid pressing that button po. Nakikita po ang ating screen dito sa meeting kapag napipindot po natin ang present. Thank you. Madam Jolita Mabora, we will request you to please turn off your microphone. Madam Jolita Mabora, kindly turn off your microphone, please.
Once again, may we request Ma'am Julita Maborang to please turn off your microphone. Ma'am Julita, please. Once again, good morning. May we also request the kindness of Sir Journel Marquez, please. Kindly turn off your webcam, sir. Sir Journel Marquez. Once again, good morning. In a moment, we shall begin our regional webinar on the IPCRF data collection system for school year 2019-2020.
Mr. Jernel Marquez, kindly turn off your microphone. Mr. Jernel
Yes,
Marquez,
ma'am.
kindly turn off your microphone.
And Ma'am Julia Adawat, please turn off your webcam. Julia Adawat, please turn off your webcam.
We would like to acknowledge the presence with us of participants from other divisions. Maraming salamat po sa pagdalo at pagsali sa ating webinar session today.
Once again, good morning to us all. The pandemic has ushered us to extraordinary times. But while equations were shifted, we at DepEd take very seriously our charge to deliver our mandates, and performance management is key. Good morning and welcome to the regional webinar on the IPCRF data collection system for school year 2019-2020. We are joined by no less our DepEd leaders who have always kept us on track, our regional director, Dr. Estela L. Quirino, our ARD, Dr. Roda Razon, our schools division superintendent, Dr. Flor Delisa C. Hecobe, and our ASDS, Dr. Mary Julie A. Cruz. Good morning po. It's always our joy to have our lead classes in this webinar from the HRDD family, our Chief, Sir Jerry Sario Jr. Good morning po. With him is the EPS in the HRDD, Sir Liberato Umangay, and the HRDD team. Welcome po. And of course, we'd also like to greet our SGOD Chief, Ma'am Elinita Ugot. To all our supervisors joining us, our PSDS, our school heads, our teachers, and ICT coordinators from Quirino and all around Region 2. Special greetings to our friends from SDO Cagayan joining us via live streaming. To us all, a blessed Tuesday morning. To get started, as we aspire to move forward as one nation, let us look skyward as we honor the Philippine flag with our national anthem through an audiovisual presentation.
Together, let us storm heavens with one common prayer as we humble ourselves for His divine intervention. Let us pray. Dear God, thank you for all the blessings you have bestowed upon us. We are truly grateful for them. Thank you for allowing us today to meet and share our knowledge and time with one another in this webinar. May you extend your divine wisdom to our speakers so that they would be able to impart effectively their God given knowledge to all of us. May they be blessed as they continue to bring their expertise to people who need them. Bless the participants as well, as they would be able to glean the vital information from this activity. May you bestow your blessings after this webinar so that we may go out and spread what we learned in the spirit of your love and generosity. May we realize that this activity should glorify your name. Amen.
Once again, good morning to us all. Here's how our day would look like, our webinar flow. So we shall have an opening message, the introduction of participants, our resource persons, including our moderators. We shall be reminded of our activity norms or house rules throughout this webinar. We shall listen to an activity rationale, and then to be followed by a session on the accomplishment of the electronic IPCRF. And after each session shall be the Q&A. For session 2, we shall have the electronic IPCRF test submission and monitoring. You'll always find time to listen and answer all your queries after each session. And of course, ways forward and the wrapping up.
And this time, may we have our very own Schools Division Superintendent, Madam Flor Deliza Hecobe, for the opening message. Madam?
Great morning, everyone. First and foremost, I would like to greet our Regional Director, Dr. Estela Carino, our Assistant Regional Director, Dr. Rhoda Razon, to my partner at SDO Quirino, Ma'am Mary Julie Cruz, to the men and women behind this laudable activity, Sir Jerry Bisario, the Chief of HRDD of the Regional Office, Dr. Elenita Biugot, the Chief SGOD Division of SDO Quirino, Dr. Liberato Umangay, Regional Education Program Supervisor, Dr. George Sadul, the Chief of CID, SDO Quirino, all education program supervisors, PSDSS in attendance, Ma'am Delia, Ma'am Hilary, Ma'am Liwa, Ma'am Meli Ruby, Sir Rodante, Sir Rodeleo, Sir Sandro, Sir Seb, Ma'am Fe Bukahan, Sir Jonathan, Ma'am Sonia, Sir Ed Caballes, Sir Ed Galutan, our SGOD EPS, Ma'am Feli Manuel, Mr. Felimendo Felipe, and Miss Karen Grace Celestino, our moderators, school principals, both from elementary and secondary, to the working committee members, our staff and ICT coordinators, teacher participants from SDO Quirino and from other divisions. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a blessed morning, everyone. Embracing the new normal is imperative nowadays. This is now called the mandate of the year. According to Charles Darwin, it is not the strongest of the species that survive, not the most intelligent, but rather the one most adaptable to change. Ang labanan ngayon ay hindi lang ng talino at natatanging kakayahan, kundi ang kakayahang mag-adjust, mag-adapt at sumayaw sa hinihiling ng pagkakataon. Naniniwala ako na tayong nasa DepEd ang binabanggit ni Charles Darwin. We have the capacity to adapt to change. We are resilient, flexible, and adaptable. We are also patient and persevering. We only need to sustain these values and virtues. Our resiliency will be put into test this morning. As you listen, prepare yourselves to understand and internalize. And when given the chance to clarify matters about the topics, please ask questions that will benefit all. You also have to follow the protocol set for this webinar. Remember, our PMS, or the results-based management system, is very vital in any organization. In like manner, as teachers, you should know your key result areas, your targets and accomplishments. You should also know the imperatives of this system. If all is set and you know all those things, then you can perform better your functions, duties, and responsibilities. It will surely give you peace of mind when you know what you are doing. And as such, you have to give your 100% attendance, both physically and mentally, in this webinar. Anyway, we have a manner by which we can check the attendance. Although you have to mute all your phone and turn off all your camera, but make sure that you are really listening to all the topics being taken up in this webinar. Lastly, I would like to thank the regional office for coming up with this very laudable activity. Maraming salamat po. God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Madam Flor. And for the presentation of participants, may we have with us our SEPs for HRD, Sir Philip.
Our greatest ability is our availability. And so to check the attendance, who's in and who's out, may we request our supervisors, our PSDS, and other supervisors joining us to please type OK on your chat area as we check the attendance. First stop, may we have our PSDS. Please type OK if you are around joining us. Please type OK in your chat area. There we can see Ma'am Nelly Ruby, Ma'am Sonia, Ma'am Delia. Thank you very much for joining us. Sir Sandro, Ma'am Marisa. And this time, may we also request our raters, our school heads, head teachers, EICs, and master teachers. Please type OK in your chat area to be recognized. Wow. We are also joined by our classroom teachers in this webinar. May we request our teachers to please type OK. There. With the special participation of our ICT coordinators. Our ICT coordinators, please type OK in your chat area as you join us. This is our way of checking your attendance and our way, if you are good, to ask questions later. Thank you very much. So we can see 251 joining us in this webinar. Thank you very much for joining us, and to all those classroom teachers and others who may have not joined us via Google Meet but still are able to join us via live streaming, welcome to our webinar.
May we also welcome our resource persons for today. Of course, we have with us our chief from the HRDD, Sir Jerry B. Sario Jr. Virtual clap for Sir Jerry. And of course, we have also with us the Education Program Supervisor of the HRDD, Sir Liberato T. Umangay Jr. Virtual clap din para kay Sir Liber. And of course, our very own SGOD Chief, Madam Elenita B. Ugot. Virtual clap para kay Ma'am Ellen. Sila po ang ating mapapakinggan, mapapanood ngayong araw for our webinar. And of course, we are your moderators for today. I am Karen Grayson Celestino, the Education Program Specialist of HRD Section.
And of course, Felimendo M. Felipe, the Senior Education Program Specialist of HRD. At this point, we shall listen to our leader who sets the tone for our region. Our Director 4, the Regional Director of DepEd Region 2.
Let's welcome with us Madam Estela Leon Quirino, EDD CESO 4, our very own Regional Director.
May we request Sir Richard Weiss to please put off your webcam. May we request once again, Sir Richard Weiss, please put off your webcam, please.
Dear fellow participants, please check that your cameras are off and your microphones are off. In a short while, we will have with us our Regional Director.
Muli ang aming pong pakiusap sa ating pong mga participants na mangyari pong paki-off po o patay muna ang inyong mga microphone and webcams para po mapakinggan at mapanood po natin ang mga presentations. May we request Sir Jose Binlayan, Ma'am Jean Lucas to please put off your webcams. Ma'am Jean Lucas, Sir Rodel, and Sir Jose Binlayan, please put off your webcams, please. So that the focus of the presentation will be the screen of our facilitators. May we request once again Ma'am Anacleta Joaquin, Ma'am Jean Lucas, and Sir Jose Binlayan to please put off your webcams. Once again, good morning. To help us program our brains to learning mode, here is one leader who does not only encourage us to look at one direction, but gets us to that direction. Our regional director, Dr. Estela Leon Quirino, CESO 4, Director 4, for her message.
Good morning to all the teachers. How are you? I hope the first week of enrollment was done well and you didn't have any problem on it. It's good that this time you are undergoing this kind of training and through webinar so that you will already know what you will be doing when you will be having your own classes. I can see here on screen some course camera are open and I can see what you are doing. So when you open your camera and everyone sees you, see to it that your attention is on the training. A while ago, while am I clear, Jerry? Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear po.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Jerry. A while ago, while the Pambansang Awit is being played, the others whose camera is open, I can also see what they are doing. I would just like to remind you, and this is already part of the new normal, that when you're attending a training online, as if you are attending it face-to-face. So we still follow all the protocol that if the Pambansang Awit is being played, then we still show the same respect. So we stand and then put our hands on top of our breast. I don't know, as I said, maybe for some, this is your first time, but for some, you have seen it. Again, you have to see to it that you follow the protocol. Right now, somebody is trying to do or put a presentation on screen also, no? So I hope in a while all the protocols on training will be given to you and you'll be able to get through it. Really, no, it is not easy, but as I said, this is where we are going. This is what we call the 21st century learning, no? The fourth industrial revolution, that even if you do not see the speaker, your ears will have to listen. And that is what your learners will be doing when you will be the one teaching them come when classes will begin. But nevertheless, as I said, no, it's always best to do it, to practice it, so that you will get used to it. And I'm happy, no, nababawasan, nag-i-increase to 50 na ulit, naging to 49. I don't know, maybe nawalan sila ng connection, no? So these are problems which we will be expecting also when we will be having classes. And this gives us now, it gives us a signal or a picture of what reality can bring. So right now, actually, what you're experiencing, I hope you will be considering this when you will be finalizing your own learning schedules, learning continuity plan in your own school later. I understand this is a mix of teachers and school head. I heard a while ago that the school heads are also should also be invited, and I see some names. And because this is really important, so it says here your training is on accomplishing the electronic individual performance commitment or IPCRF, and then how you will be submitting it online, and then how it will be monitored. And I hope with the number of hours that you will be trained, now it says here 9 to 11, but since you started today, and since this is free, I hope you can still extend, Jerry, so that all questions will be answered. So I always wish that for teachers, if you are not really sure, or you don't you're not expert of how you do this, you practice, you ask help, you ask for technical assistance instead of complaining, instead of saying bakit kasi online, bakit kasi hindi face to face. We have to accept the reality. And as we always say, the fourth industrial revolution really is into this kind of learning, this kind of training. So we should not be left behind. Anyway, as I said, practice makes perfect. It's only an acceptance that this is it. So instead of complaining, we just follow. And then we will find out that actually it's easier. No, it's easier. That I know that for some of you, you are just in your homes. No, without necessarily going to the venue. So while probably this is giving you a little discomfort, like thinking of if your internet will be cut, but it's also giving you a comfort, because before you have to catch up with the bus, catch up with the ride, go to the NEAP, and so on and so forth, pack your things, leave your children. But now, you are on training. And as I said, some of you might be in your own homes already. So there is discomfort, but there is also comfort. And this is how we should be embracing the new normal. So again, congratulations to all of you who are joining. Naging 250 uli. And for those who are not able to join, maybe because of their weak internet connection, I hope they will still have a chance to join. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank you and congratulate you for the things you have done during the enrollment. And I appeal to you, let us help each other. We are in the department and we should be supporting each other. We know that there are negative comments on why do we have to have classes, but we should not join them. Instead, we should patiently encourage as well as explain to them that, as I told you, like now, actually, while there is discomfort, there is also nice things happening when it comes to online training. So it's the same when it comes to online learning to our students. We just have to patiently explain to them. And I thank also HRDD through the leadership of Jerry for bringing you this so that there should be no problem on the filling up of your IPCRF. And I hope there should be no questions being sent to central office because you have already expert resource speakers. So if ever after this training you are not yet sure of what to do, please feel to message them so that you will be given the technical assistance. Once again, on behalf of the department, thank you for your sacrifices, and let's be together in seeing to it that we'll be able to deliver continuous education amidst this COVID-19 pandemic. I love you, and please stay healthy. We heal as one. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Madam Stella, for inspiring all of us today in this webinar, and also for emphasizing the importance of following protocols during webinars like this. And now for the activity rationale, may we welcome with us our chief in the Human Resource Development Division of Region 2, our very own Sir Jerry B. Sario Jr. Virtual clap for Sir Jerry.
Okay lang. Okay lang. Nakasan. Thank you, Miss Karen and Sir Philip. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning po.
So, it is my pleasure to meet you virtually. But before we proceed to our topic, no, I'd like to thank our two dynamic leaders, RD Estela Carino and SD Explore Hecove, for gracing this occasion. Also, I would like to say sorry for we started late this morning. We are experiencing wonky internet in the regional office, but as mentioned by RD in her message, this is normal in the new normal. Okay, so this is our first webinar to be spearheaded by the Human Resource Development Division, and I would like to include the management of the National Educators Academy of the Philippines, Region 2, and I would like to formally welcome you. So this is already our 13 runs, no? So magkikwento lang ako ng konti regarding our experience on this webinar. So sabi ko, this is already our 13 runs. We started last June 8, and for every run, we encountered several yet similar issues and concerns like internet signal, lost connection, an issue on DepEd email account. But the most pressing issue so far that the team have encountered, and this is very challenging on our part as facilitators, ay yung participant na ayaw mag-mute ng audio or yung participant na umaagaw ng presentation. And I appreciate Sir Philip and Ma'am Karen for always reminding our participants on these norms, no? Yung mga nagta-try to present something, maybe this is out of curiosity, kaya siguro kinakalikot ang features ng Google Meet, no? But as you attend this webinar, aside from, we let you acquire the basic knowledge, no, and skills, we are also immersing you on the use of the various online platforms, because as a leader, whether you are at the SDS, school head, department head, MT, or a teacher, for that matter, you should be ICT literate for you to be called 21st century leader. So for today, before we proceed to our main topic about the IPCRF data collection, I'd like to share this session with you to explain what will happen now to the performance management of the Department of Education given the new normal. As we transition and as we adapt to the post-quarantine scenario, I'd like to give you a little bit of context, and we expect also that being in the HR, whether you are in the division office or in the school, we should be at the forefront of providing and ensuring that our delivery of service will still continue despite some limitations. So there are things that basically we know in our current situation and aspects that we don't know, something uncertain and ambiguous to us. For the things that we know, the virus is contagious, so it can be fatal. So alam po natin lahat yan, and I congratulate SDO Quirino or the province of Quirino for staying COVID-free even up to this time, no? So we might as well from the other provinces, no, benchmark sa SDO Quirino. There is no available vaccine also right now. Therefore, whatever situation we are in, whether we are in ECQ or GCQ, strict physical distancing will still be our new norm, and there would be like limited movement of people depending on the quarantine restriction in our respective locality or area. So our movement is dependent on the IATF guidelines, or it is based on the prevailing community quarantine classification in our locality. Hence, mass gathering is or will be limited like face-to-face, convergence, symposium, and even workshop until such time that the government will say it's okay for us to go back to the old normal. So families and workers, especially our counterpart or constituents, worry much about their occupation and of course expenses for their daily living. On the other side, these are the things that we are uncertain. We don't know also when is the vaccine will be developed and made available to the public. We also don't know if we can achieve immunity from the virus. For example, if the vaccine will be available, will it serve as blockers for us to get that virus? The possibility also of series of outbreaks once the community quarantine will be lifted. So the government keeps on reminding that even though we are in GCQ, there will be chance that there will be possible outbreak. Also, we don't know how safe we will be when we go out or when we return to work after post-quarantine. That's why our officials, particularly in the Department of Education, are taking into consideration the teachers or non-teaching personnel returning to work in ensuring that we are wearing rather face mask, taking of body temperature, and setting up of sanitation stations for the protection of both the government workers and of course the citizens transacting inside our offices. And I hope in your school you are doing these things. In my next slide are several anticipated new normal scenarios. On your left side, these are the new changes, and as a response to these new changes are those at your right side. And these are the possibilities that could happen, and we can see these are actually happening now. Adoption, for example, of alternative work arrangements, wherein there is a possibility that some of us will be working from home. Just like this, we are in a virtual meeting, and the possibility of adoption of staggered working hours, 4-day or compressed work week, or the adoption of the skeleton workforce arrangements. So we are into this until such time that the quarantine will be lifted or there will be issuance on this. Looking at the legal basis, nakapaloob po ito sa CSC Memorandum Number 10, Series of 2020, requiring all government to adopt alternative working arrangements in view of COVID-19. Stringent physical distancing also, which is required, therefore less face-to-face interaction. And since our modality had changed to remote or distance learning, online platforms and tools should be in place, especially in the workplace. As far as employees adapting and adjusting into the new norm, there are also new standards for working at home. and there will be new ways of assessing performance. Next is the rise of work disruptions, especially for those working at home. Imagine now that technically we are working at home amidst this crisis. And as an HR, or as far as HR is concerned, we should, or we would like to mitigate the possible rise of work disruptions. One very critical intervention here is the upskilling of technology, both the IT infrastructure and soft skills. No? So kailangan enhance natin yung ating mga skills as regards IT infrastructure and the acquisition of soft skills. And when we say soft skills, these are new set of skills our employees need in time of the new normal. Say for example, paano gagamit ng Google Meet? That's why in our first slide, andun na po yung ating norms, no, for us to be reminded that these are actually our protocols when attending online or virtual meetings, no? Google Classrooms also, MS Teams, Zoom, and other communication or online platforms. So this gathering will basically focus on how we adapt into the new normal in terms of consolidating our performance rating. The next few series of slides are actually giving you an idea for our HR persons in the schools and in the schools division office, including schools. No, we see this as a sort of tips and also in anticipation of what will be the changes that will brought about by the new normal in terms of one of our HR systems, which is performance management. Kung paano i-operationalize yung ating performance management system, and what is now the work arrangement of our employees, and how do we make sure that they can still be productive despite these limitations. So the three bubbles are basically, or are actually the three things that we see in order for us to effectively manage the performance of our employees. First is to engage our employees in the process of navigating through the new normal. So we see in here that we need to also value individual journey on adapting to the new normal. Because while we all experience this new normal, the way we react and the way we respond to the new normal depends on our individual context or individual disposition. Therefore, we need to see and value the individual journey, not only as a person, but at the same time as an employee. Again, as an HR, we should be at the forefront of making sure, and when I speak of HR here, andun po yung not only yung mga tao natin sa ESGOD, HRDS, no, but also our HR in the schools. We should be at the forefront of making sure that our offices within the schools divisions and even at the schools, no, should at least revisit and create service continuity plan. I know for sure that your schools division had already crafted its learning continuity plan. No? But as an office or school, it is critical that we also have to craft our own learning continuity plan. For example, we need to identify what services can be done online kahit nasa school tayo, and what services also can be done face-to-face. Of course, with limitations. Second, we need to also redesign the floor plan of our offices, no? And of course, the work procedures or workflow in view of the new normal. For example, yung about sa floor plan, we need to consider putting up some protective barriers within our office to observe yung physical distancing. And at the same time, ensuring the delivery of services and also giving consideration to the human aspect. Ito yung pinaka-importanteng tao sa loob ng organization, yung human aspect of the organization in ensuring the health and safety of our employees. The next bubble where HR should be in the forefront also, because this is critical as of now, as we transition to the new normal is focused on the setting up of mechanisms, protocol on the new standards of working. So critical in here is the adaptiveness or leadership adaptiveness of your leaders, your chief in the SGOD, your chief in the CID, to include yung mga section heads natin, aside from the instructions you are receiving from your SDS and ASDS. So our leaders, no, adaptiveness into the new normal is very critical. Therefore, we need to redefine the standards for working at home or working in the office, having some skeleton workforce arrangements. As regards assessment, no, leaders should now be assessing more on leaning towards output base. If you are the leader during this time, no, or if you are the head of the office, basically your assessment now would be: will you be assessing faster response over a better response, or longer days in the office over a productive days? So ganun po nating i-redefine ang ating work standards in view of the new normal. While we don't see also each other, the micro managing technically will not work under the new normal. So ang gagawin natin, we allow our teachers or employees independence to do their own, but as a leader, we need to set norms and rules, or we need to establish norms and rules in terms of how these employees or teachers will deliver their output. It is essential also for our managers to have a clear understanding of what tools or platforms to be used by the team in terms of checking attendance, and at the same time, guiding them as to what are the deliverables for the week. So ang magandang tool or template na gagamitin natin dito ay yung work from home planner, no? And na-mention po ni SDS Flor kanina that we have some ways, although we are doing virtual meetings, we have some ways to monitor yung attendance or participation ng ating mga participants. So these are some of the tools, and also team tracking and monitoring is very critical from our end. Just like in our office in the region, we are actually asked to establish, or we need to establish, what are the deliverables and expected output for the week. So meron kaming work week plan, expected output for the week, and then upon reporting or at the end of the month, we are asked to submit our accomplishments. So that is whether continued task or a new deliverable. In terms of managing performance also, our new normal will be more output based, but maintaining quality output based. So it is critical in here, how do we monitor performance of our employees? So while we are on alternative work arrangement in the Department of Education, due to COVID-19 pandemic, we are expected also to make ourselves available during working hours or during virtual meetings. And I appreciate SDO Quirino for at least you were able to meet, I think, 100% of the expected participants to this webinar. My last slide in managing performance in the new normal is about the provision of support. This is essential in ensuring our employee will still be productive in the new normal. And while we establish and clarify new work processes and expectations, these are also essential for our HR and line managers, like our functional division chiefs, including our school heads. I'd like also to mention PSDSS, the protection of employee mental health and well-being, especially this time. So as a leader, we need to look for an area where teachers can vent out their worries and issues, and not necessarily resolving their worries, but you are there to somehow guiding them. So this is primary essential as being emphasized by our secretary in ensuring the safety and health of our personnel despite our move to deliver the expected services that our counterpart or constituents expect from us. So we encourage you to provide and do intervention or learning session to your teachers about COVID, how to cope with some anxiety and stress, and then lifting their spiritual and emotional well-being. This somehow will give them comfort, no? You can also do or conduct mental health check even in chat groups, kamustahan activities, as simple as that intervention, but somehow will bring back solidarity among our teachers when they return to their work. So basically, these are support mechanisms, no? Such as health or psychological interventions, provision of personal protective equipment, among others, should be made available to government workers. Next is the upskilling technology, because even our learning and development delivery or intervention delivery will now also be shifting to the new normal. No? So no more face-to-face, or even if there will be, no, on a minor chance only. So again, IT infrastructure should be set up, and then of course new skills should be addressed. And these are the things we see that we need to prioritize right now. While we are in virtual teams, culture of collaboration should not be lost also, but rather this should be more intensified, no? As we are introducing virtual or online meetings. The last one, which is critical for our employees we manage, is still the coaching and mentoring remotely. A simple one-on-one video chat on how the person is coping with and how things and deliverables in their plate can be delivered. And given those things, if you see technically performance management, it is still the same. The basic essentials are still there. It's just that the delivery and the mode of doing these things will now be through virtual and online. So these are the things that we are seeing right now. So this is the objective, no? So as we move to our main agenda, the objective of this activity is to prepare you, teachers, raters, and other DepEd personnel who are involved in RPMS in implementing phase 3 of the RPMS cycle for SY 2019 to 2020 amid the COVID-19 situation, and while we are transitioning to the new normal. As mentioned by RD in her message, no, we want this, or we want to introduce this to our teachers, light and easy, so that in return they will take it light and easy also, and not for them to take it as additional burden or additional work. So this is where my presentation ends, and I hope that you pick something from this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sir Jerry. Those words will truly guide us in our transition to this new normal, and that our leaders will be reminded of how we will be able to manage our personnel in this new normal. And of course, our personnel, they will know what will be expected from them. And now, for the objectives of the webinar, may we also have with us our SGOD Chief, Madam Elenita B. Ugot.
Thank you, Madam Karen. We would like to greet our DepEd leaders from the regional office, and of course from our home, from our SDO, to all SDO Quirino family, also our participants for this morning. Good morning po sa inyong lahat. Okay, so let's start the main event of this seminar. And we would like to give you and share with you the objectives of this webinar. Okay? This webinar would like us to be prepared, or let us prepare our teachers to include our raters and of course our DepEd personnel who are involved in our RPMS for the implementation of phase 3 of the RPMS cycle for school year 2019-2020 amid the COVID-19 or this pandemic situation, and while transitioning to the new normal. Okay? This is also to orient our key RPMS personnel in three events or three activities. That's for encoding or accomplishing our electronic individual performance commitment and review form. Also, the how do we submit it via online, and then the monitoring of the encoding and submission of this IPCRF via online. Okay. Our IPCRF data collection system for school year 2019-2020, here are the three topics. The first is we will learn, or we will be guided, we will be enhanced on how to accomplish the electronic IPCRF for school year 2019-2020. That's online. And then we will be guided how to submit our electronic IPCRF or the IPCRF of our teachers via online. And then the submission or the monitoring of our submission of IPCRF for our teachers. So, tatlo lang po yung topics natin ngayon. So, pag-igihin natin, makinig po tayong mabuti. Okay. This time naman, let us match the things that we believe into what we want to know for this webinar. Okay. Dito sa ating expectation, or what do I know about IPCRF data collection for this 2018-2019, there was a system to collect and consolidate the performance of our teachers on the first 12 PPST indicators. Okay, so meron na rin pong system yan. And then, there was an online platform for data gathering. So, ginamit din po natin ang online platform. So, who are involved on this? Of course, our schools, SDO, and of course, our regional office. All of this level of governance were fully involved in the entire process. Okay? But throughout the process, there were challenges in some points, but definitely through the help of our leaders, through the help of everyone, na-check po natin, na-meet po natin ang mga different challenges for this IPCRF data collection system 2018-2019. Okay, ano po yung gamit na nito? The data being collected for that year is already used for training needs assessment. So that's the basis of our planning for our different learning and development activities. Okay? Also, it used macro-enabled Excel. So Excel ang ginamit natin, based file to collect IPCRF data collection or offline. So, offline po yan using Excel. Okay. Now, this time, for our IPCRF, ay aalamin natin how are we going to collect our data for the IPCRF for this school year. So it falls on the updates. So there will be updates that you want to know on how the existing system was made more user-friendly and how the specific roles and responsibilities of our DepEd personnel involved in all levels of governance. We start from the schools and our SDOs and to our regional offices. Of course, we would like also to know how does this new system adapt to the new normal. So that's already, I believe that this is already our new normal. And then later on, we would like also to know that how can we utilize now the result of this data collection for more efficiently. Okay, how are we going to manage this in times of this new normal? So the platform that will be used, we are going to learn that, and of course the revised timelines in relation to the COVID-19 situation. Okay, so this is also the basis or the principle and even explanation for our RPMS data collection system. To better support the continuous professional development features based on the PPST. So remember, our PPST is our basis. And of course, the agency, that's the DepEd, the BH or OD, seeks to establish baseline data. So makikita natin dito, dapat nating malaman ang baseline data, the correct data on teachers' proficiency level nitong first 12 PPST indicators and even the succeeding indicators. Okay? Also, lahat po ng public schools, all public schools ay kailangan nating mag-submit. Ano ang isasubmit natin? We are going to submit the data from teachers' individual performance, commitment, and review form. Hindi siya mahaba, kundi IPCRF lang siya for each rating period. Okay? Why? Because there's a need to establish a system that will enable us to collect and submit, or the collection and submission of this RPMS data across governance level, because we really need the data, the baseline data, in order to plan for our L&D activities and even decision making. Okay. Sa DM45 series of 2020 natin, makikita natin dito sa slide na to that each teacher, kayo po, is assumed to have obtained at least 3 classroom observations, and this number shall be considered in computing for the quality rating of classroom observation, RPMS objective. Okay, so remember, supposed to be meron sana tayong 4 na classroom observation period. But because of this COVID-19 situation, ay sana kailangan nating may 3 na. 3 classroom observation. So, looking on your screen, nakikita natin dito sa table na to, this is just a sample computation for under quality rating in our RPMS objective 1. Okay? So makikita natin yan na there are 4 classroom observation periods. So 4 sana. Supposed to be meron tayong 4 din na COT rating. But this time, we believe that we have accomplished already 3 COT ratings. Okay? So makikita natin sa third column na transmuted yung ating rating. Meron na dyan yung transmuted RPMS rating natin. So kapag ang maximum COT rating natin ay 7, ito yung ating mga teachers 1 to 3. Kapag ang maximum rating natin ay 8, dito na yung mga master teachers natin. So the highest transmuted rating is 5. So yan yung sample natin. So we have 3 classroom observations. We have COT ratings for these 3 classroom observations. And then we add that. We divide it into 3, getting it 4.6666, and then the equivalent quality rating of 5. So yan na po yan. Yan yung sample natin, mga dear teachers, based on the M45 series of 2020. But on your screen, nakikita po natin that there is an automatic rating of 5. Ano po yung automatic rating of 5? For both quality and efficiency shall be recorded in the IPCRF for RPMS objective 10 for teachers using the proficient tool. Okay? So ito kasing objective number 10 falls on the last quarter evaluation. This is being rated once lang sana. Kanya lang dahil sa nangyari nga ngayon, kaya there will be an automatic rating of 5. Okay? Okay na? Nagigets natin? Okay. In addition to this, meron tayong recalibrated RPMS rubric that shall be done in such a way, ano ang purpose nito, in such a way that the total number of our available valid po ha, valid main and supporting means of verification or yung lagi nating favorite na MOV. Okay? Submitted on obtains the highest rating for efficiency. So if we compare from the original versus the recalibrated, nakikita natin dito under efficiency that from the original, when we obtain a rating of 5, there should be 4 main MOVs and 1 supporting MOV. Kanya nga lang, dito na tayo sa recalibrated, of which there should only be 3 main MOV, each with any one of the supporting MOV. Okay? So, dapat natin malaman yung sinasabi nating anyone with any one of the supporting. So, hindi ho lahat-lahat ng ating mga supporting MOVs. Okay? So, comparing again, if you have rating of 4, definitely from the original, we have 3 main MOVs with any of the supporting MOV. But here, of the recalibrated rubric, we are to submit only 2 main MOVs, each with any one of the supporting MOV. Nakikita natin, if we compare the original into this recalibrated rubric, yung 1 doon, yung rating of 1, tingnan natin na yung rating of 1 from the original, wala kang acceptable evidences na naipakita. Pero dito sa recalibrated, talagang wala na siya. Okay? Therefore, teachers are encouraged to explore. Please, let us explore the list of possible MOVs for non-classroom observable RPMS objectives and provide whichever are available at hand that they may still obtain acceptable results under quality, efficiency, and timeliness. Okay? Alright. Yung mga updates po natin, ay pwede nating ma-download dyan. Yung prescribed electronic IPCRF natin for 2019-2020. Okay? But there's an important note. Kindly disregard po ang mga files na na-released and downloaded before 4 of May of 2020. Okay? So our electronic IPCRF file is available now for downloading. But the postponement of the RPMS year-end review for our school-based personnel is still in effect as per DM 45, series of 2020, until such time that safety of our DepEd employees is declared. So, hintayin lang po natin yan, na ma-declare na okay na tayong lahat, may vaccine na and everything. So, for that, thank you so much. Ma'am Karen?
Thank you very much, Madam Ellen. And before we continue with the first session, again with Sir Jerry, may we have a 5-minute break? So dear participants, you may now go on bio break or pwede na po muna kayong mag-unwind. And it will just be 5 minutes. We'll be hearing from our chief again after 5 minutes. Thank you, everyone.
Ay, salamat.
While everyone is on break, may I again request our participants to please turn off their cameras. Yung ating pong mga web cameras, nakikita po namin dito ang inyong activities. And also, please be conscious about pressing the buttons on your cell phones or gadgets. As of now, we have someone presenting on our screen po. Kindly turn off the presentation po, Sir Sergio Tagibaw. We are seeing your screen here, sir. And of course, our microphones, let's make sure that all throughout our microphones are turned off. This is to give respect to our speakers while they are delivering um, their lectures. Again, Sir Sergio Tagibaw, kindly press stop presentation. Thank you.
Once again, good morning po sa ating lahat. And we're back for the session 1 for the accomplishment of the electronic IPCRF. Here is the Chief of HRDD, Sir Jerry B. Sario Jr.
Thank you, Sir Philip. To everyone, good morning once again. So I'm back, and this time I'll be walking you through the IPCRF electronic tool for school year 2019 to 2020. But before I show you how to use the IPCRF e-tool, let me tell you a bit about the tool. The tool is a Microsoft Excel macro-enabled workbook file with a .xlsm file extension designed for offline use. It contains printable templates for the IPCRF parts 1 to 4, as well as an encoding form that collects data for COT and IPCRF QET ratings, and data for core behavioral competencies. So who will be using this tool? There are two types of users of the tool, and these are the school head, who is the rater, and the teacher, who is the ratee. For purposes of this presentation, I'll simplify the flowchart, taking out all the steps that don't necessarily involve the electronic tool while still following the procedures we set. First, the rater downloads the IPCRF electronic tool, and after downloading, encodes the ratee's data, then encodes COT and QET ratings, and at this point, the rater hands the electronic tool to the ratee, who encodes parts 2 and 4. Then the ratee gives the file back to the rater after encoding parts 2 and 4. And for step 5, the school head submits the file online. We have identified 5 major steps, each involving several activities. We'll discuss each step in the process except for the submission, which will be discussed in a separate session. Let's begin with downloading. First, let's leap into the role of the rater. Here are the activities involved for step 1, download and extract. The first thing we must do as a rater is to download a copy of the new IPCRF electronic tool. Keep in mind that the versions that you may have been given during the national RPMS or regional RPMS PPST capacity building should no longer be used. The submission system will not accept them. If you obtained a copy of the tool recently, ensure that you have the version with the proficient tool that has automatic ratings of 5 in objective 10. And this was initially discussed by Ma'am Ellen in her slide a while ago. And details of this can be found in DM45 series of 2020. And any version other than this is no longer valid. So where does one download the tool? You can find the tool by opening this link, which takes you to a Google Drive. In there, you will find a zip file named DepEd Prescribed IPCRF Parts 1 to 4 SY 2019-2020. Simply right-click on the file and click Download. When you have downloaded the zip file, you must then extract the file or Excel file inside it. It is important that you remember, and I recommend you emphasize this, when you cascade to your teachers, that you should not open the IPCRF Excel tool without first extracting it. In the past, some users have complained that they cannot save or edit the Excel tool, or that the data they encoded is lost after saving and closing Excel. That was probably due to this misstep. In Windows, it is easy to identify a zip file. These three icons are simply are examples rather of how it looks like. The first one is when you do not have a file compression software installed, such as WinRAR or 7-zip. The default icon in Windows is a folder with a zipper. In some cases, the file may look like the last two icons, a stack of books bundled together with a belt. To extract a zip file in Windows, assuming you do not have a compression software installed, there are generally two methods. I'll quickly show you how to do it using the two methods so it's clear to everybody, as well offer you suggestions of how you can cascade this to your teachers later on, maybe during school-based learning action cell or any other small gatherings. The first one is to right-click on the file. Then click Extract All, and this opens the default extraction tool in Windows. Simply select the destination or leave it as is and click the Extract button. This will create a new Excel file outside the zip. You can now open this Excel file. The second method is by opening or double-clicking the zip file. Wait lang. Ay, wait lang. This does not open any other program or window. It opens in the same file, Explorer window, and looks as if you have just opened a regular folder with a single Excel file in it. But do not be fooled, you are still inside the zip file. Notice the extract menu in pink at the top of the window, and this tells you the view is of a compressed folder. This is when some users make the mistake of opening the Excel file. I'll remind you again that you should not open the Excel file while still inside the zip. You must extract it first. And to do that, you can drag and drop the file into the desktop to create a copy of the tool. Or you can also copy and paste the file from here. Also, you can click the Extract All menu, which is similar to method A that I showed you earlier. For Mac users, double-clicking or opening the zip file should automatically extract the Excel tool. Now that we have downloaded the IPCRF electronic tool, let's proceed to the second step, which is to encode the latest data. And here are the activities involved. Open the Excel IPCRF tool, enable editing, enable macros, encode schools data, encode raters data, make copies, and encode rates data. To begin, we need to open the Excel file. When opening the IPCRF electronic tool, here are a few things you need to remember. You must open it on a laptop, tablet, or desktop PC running Windows or Mac OS. You cannot open the tool using any other kind of mobile phone, tablets running Android or Windows RT, the iPad or Chromebooks, and other laptops running Windows RT. In addition to the types of compatible devices, here is a list of the programs and apps you can and cannot use to open the IPCRF electronic tool. You can open the tool using the desktop app of Microsoft Office Excel with the following versions. Do not use the online or web version of Microsoft Excel because macros aren't supported. You also cannot use these programs. If you are on a Mac, do not open the numbers or the older Office for Mac apps 2004, 2008, and 2011. Furthermore, Google Sheets, if you are using a Chromebook or any other Microsoft Excel alternatives such as WPS, LibreOffice, or OpenOffice. Note that if you open the IPCRF tool with any of the apps in the don't column, in other words, not Excel, the tool is forever broken and you need to download a new copy. Again, it's important that you emphasize this when cascading to your teachers. There were cases reported that the macros don't work. The reason it turned out was because they were not using Microsoft Excel. If you are sure your device and your app are compatible, you can then open the tool. When the tool is opened, Excel automatically puts the file in protected view for security reasons. It does this for files downloaded from the internet. Notice the yellow bar that says protected view below the ribbon. You need to click the Enable Editing button so you can begin editing the file. Otherwise, it will remain disabled in protected view. On the Mac, it's more straightforward. Excel will greet you with a dialog box with an alert asking whether to enable or disable editing, and then click Enable Editing. After enabling editing, you also need to enable the macros which are disabled by default. Click the Enable Content button to allow macros. And failure to do so means that Excel won't be able to run the custom code that makes the IPCRF tool work. On the Mac, again, Excel will greet you with a dialog box with an alert asking whether to enable or disable macros. In Windows, if you do not see the Enable Content button in the yellow bar below the ribbon, it does not necessarily mean that the macros are already enabled. After confirming that they are disabled, for example, when an error message is shown saying, so after clicking a button, you need to perform this suggested workaround. In the ribbon, click the File menu. In the available options, on the vertical panel to the left, find Options. It is usually at the bottom. Try to scroll down the several panel if you don't see the option. Click it when you find it. This opens the Excel Options dialog box on the panel to the left. Find and click the Trust Center option, usually found at the bottom of the list. In the Trust Center, find and click the Trust Center Settings button. And the Trust Center dialog box opens. In the panel to the left, find and click the macros settings. Under macro settings, click Enable All Macros. Ensure that the radio button for the Enable All Macros option is activated. Click the OK button and this closes the Trust Center dialog box and returns you to the Excel Options dialog box. Just click the OK button again. Close all open Excel workbooks and reopen the IPCRF tool to apply the changes. Assuming you have enabled the macros, you should now be ready to encode the ratee and raters data into the form. But before that, I'd like to take a little detour. Let's look at the different parts of the tool so it makes sense to you when you encode the data. This Excel workbook has 4 usable tabs or sheets. You can usually find the sheets at the bottom of the Excel window. The electronic tool has the templates for all the parts of the IPCRF, each on its own tab. These are the part 1 to 4 tabs, but the first tab you will see when you open the tool is the encoding tab. Here are the properties of each tab. For the encoding tab, it is editable because it contains the data collection form. It is also protected, which means you cannot modify this sheet. Only white cells are editable, and this form is also non-printable. For parts 1, 2, and 3, they all have the same properties. They are all not editable because all data that are needed for these forms are encoded in the encoding tab. They are all protected and not editable and printable. The part 4 tab is editable but also not protected to allow the users to make any necessary changes for crafting, development plans, and of course, it's printable. Let's focus on the encoding tab, part 1. And just below that is part 2. Let us go back to the top. Now let's proceed to the next step, which is encoding the school's data. Here is the part where you need to input the school information. First is region. Region is a drop-down option with the following options. In your case, click 2-, Cagayan Valley. The second field is division, which is another drop-down box, which options depends on the selected region. Next is district or municipality. School ID, which only accepts 6 digits school ID from 100,000 to 699,999. Next is school name, and we recommend you input the complete and proper name of your school. Next is school type. This is another drop-down option between rural and urban. And of course, class size, another drop-down option for small, medium, large, or very large. And the last field for the school's information is the curricular classification. Here are the choices. Note that the choice you select in the curricular classification field will affect the choices that will be available in the preceding parts of the tool, specifically the level taught, grade level taught, and subject taught. Next we encode is the rater's data, which contains only 3 fields. First is the rater's name, and we recommend this format. Last name, comma, first name, middle initial. Next field is the position, which is a drop-down option between these positions. And the last field is date of review, which accepts date from February 2020 onwards using this format. At this point in time, this is not required. You only need to encode the date of review in finalizing part 1. After finishing encoding of the school's information and the rater's information, you need to save Excel workbook and then close it. What we have done so far is basically make a template. Remember, the rater is doing this. He or she must prepare all IPCRF files for each of the teachers where she will be rating. Suppose I need to prepare the IPCRF tool for one teacher. I will just duplicate the template that I created and then rename the duplicate to include the name of the ratee or the teacher that I will be rating. Then I will open that file. Now, don't forget to enable editing and enable macros from this step. You need to do that every time you open the IPCRF tool. Now we are proceeding to the next step, which is encoding the ratee's data. And here are the fields that you need to accomplish. And there are several fields. Let's begin with name of employee. Again, we recommend rather that you use the format that you use for the raters field. Last name, comma, middle initial, or last name, comma, first name, middle initial. Next that you select is the position, which is a drop-down option between these positions. We have teachers 1 to 3, SPET 1 to 5, master teachers 1 to 4, and special science teacher 1 to 5. Remember that when you change the position or when you change the data for this field, it also changes the form. For example, if you select a position that uses a proficient form, part 1 for this tool changes accordingly. If you select, for example, master teacher, the form will change into highly proficient form. And you will know that the form has been changed by looking at the background color. It will turn green for the proficient form and blue for the highly proficient form. Next is the employee ID number. We have employment status, which is a drop-down option. We have the age, sex, which are also drop-down options. Next is level taught. Where's that? Yeah, yeah. The options available here will depend on the selected curricular classification under the school's information. As I mentioned earlier, whenever you selected the curricular classification would determine the options that will be available here. For example, if I selected kindergarten or kinder curriculum classification, kindergarten to grade 6, the options that will be available here will be kindergarten and elementary. If, however, I chose kindergarten to grade 10 in the curricular classification, the options that will be available in the level taught field will be kindergarten, elementary, and junior high school, and so on. Next is grade level taught. This option depends on the selected level taught. For example, if I selected elementary in the grade level taught, the options that will be available here will be kindergarten to grade 6. If I chose junior high school, the options that will be available here will be grade 7 to 10 and so on. But if you select ALS in the subject taught, which is in the next field, the grade level taught will be disabled. Next is the subject taught, which is a drop-down list of all these subjects. This field changes to strand if you selected senior high school in level taught. Then we have number of years in teaching, highest degree obtained, and area of specialization, which are all drop-down options. We now have completed step 2. Let's proceed to the next step, which is encoding part 1 COT and IPCRF QET ratings. And here are the activities involved. Encode COT ratings, encode QET ratings, and then finalize part 1. So here, let us go back to the encoding tab. Let's look at part 1. Below the ratings information, we have 4 COT columns. Let's focus on the first one. At the beginning, all COT columns are disabled except for COT1, where you will know that this is enabled because we have a cell at the top that is colored white. This allows you to select a drop-down option from among the identified subjects. Once you select the subject, the rating will be enabled. Again, you will confirm that the column or the cells are enabled because they have turned white. For the proficient form, this column will accept values from 3 to 7, while for the highly proficient form, it will accept values from 4 to 8. The second column, the RPMS 5-point scale, will automatically populated based on the input on the rating. And after inputting the rating, you need to input the date of observation at the bottom. And this field accepts dates beginning June 3, 2019 using this format. After entering the date of observation, the rater then click the lock COT1, which prompts the rater must enter a password. The rater will then nominate a password with minimum 6 characters, and this password will be used later when locking other COT columns and finalizing part 1. It is important that the rater won't forget this. After confirming the password, the rater will click the Go button, and this locks COT1 and enable COT2. A little reminder, COT columns are disabled until the previous COT has been locked. For example, when COT1 was locked, COT2 is enabled. In other words, you must input the COT ratings sequentially from COT1. We have COT2, COT3, and COT4. Note that COT columns are not required, meaning if you do not have data for a particular COT, you don't need to input them. Next, after finishing encoding of COT ratings, we then encode the QET ratings. It's at this part right here. Notice that we have some colored cells. You only need to input on the white cells. And these cells accepts whole numbers from 1 to 5. Input the ratings for QET. After that, we need to finalize part 1. And to do that, we must input the date of review back in the rater's information. As I've said earlier, this field is not required until finalizing part 1. After entering the date of review, input also the approving authority name and position. Then the rater will click Finalize Part 1 button, which prompts for the rater's password, which was previously set. Input the rater's password and click Go, and this locks Part 1. You will confirm that Part 1 has been finalized because the background color is turned red. At this point, the rater transfers the file to the ratee. So we have just completed steps 1, 2, and 3. Now let's discuss the last one, which is encoding of parts 2 and 4 by the ratee. Here are the activities involved, and let's begin with finalizing part 2. Back in the encoding tab, below the part 1 is the part 2 form. The ratee only need to tick on the boxes of the competency indicators where she demonstrated during the performance cycle. After ticking all the appropriate boxes, ratee will then click Finalize Part 2, which comes for a ratee's password. This is separate from the rater's password that was set by the rater earlier. This one, the ratee will think of a new password, again, minimum of 6 characters. And this password will be used later in finalizing or unfinalizing parts 2 and 4. After confirming password, the ratee will click on the Go button, which locks part 2. Again, you will confirm that part 2 has been locked or finalized because the background color has turned red. Finally, the ratee opens part 4 and encodes his or her development plans. After encoding at the bottom, the ratee will click part 4 button, which will again prompts for the ratee's password he or she set when finalizing part 2. After inputting the ratee's password, click the go button and that should lock part 4. And that finishes all the steps we need to do in accomplishing the IPCRF electronic tool. For the next part, the ratee will give the file back to the rater or school head for the online submission. And that ends my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jerry. And for our participants, if you have questions that you would like to ask or clarifications that or points for clarification, please use our chat box and put there your questions and points of clarifications. And now for the frequently asked questions on the IPCRF data collection, may we have again with us our SGOD Chief, Madam Elenita B. Ugot.
Yes, Ma'am Karen, thank you so much. And good morning once again. Good morning, Sir Jerry and everyone. Here are our frequently asked questions. So ayan, pagkatapos ng session ni Sir, of which we have reviewed, we have learned the basics for this electronic IPCRF. Here are also the frequently asked questions that we have been hearing from other teachers. Okay, let's start with the question. As I start using the file, okay, some features seem not working properly. What can I do? Ayan, yung mostly na question natin, dear teachers. Ang sagot lang po ay ito. Please ensure that you are using MS Office 2010 or newer. Ayan, sinabi ni Sir Jerry kanina yan. Okay? And then, ensure that you have enabled all macros. So, there are part of those frequent steps na kailangan na i-open ninyo or enable ninyo ang macros. So, yan po yung sagot ng lagi nating question na yan. Another question ay, who? O, ito tao, tinatanong natin po kung sino. Who initiates the accomplishment of electronic IPCRF? Remember, ladies and gentlemen, noon, ang dati, ang rater ang nagda-download and answer part 1. So based from protocol and as seen in the tool instruction, the rater answers part 1 of the encoding sheet on, including the teacher, rater, to include the region, nakita nyo kanina, division, school demographics, COT, and QET ratings. To do this, open one file and start encoding the fields for region, division, school information that is found at the rightmost column of the demographic portions. And then replicate the file into a number of copies. Of course, you can edit the name of each file to include the name of the teacher. But now, given this current COVID-19 situation, ay ano na, okay? The ratee, kayo po yon, ratee, may initiate the encoding of her demographic profile. And the COT ratings, the rater consequently ensures that all information are recorded accurately during the ratee-rater conference. So, iba-validate pa rin po ng rater. Okay? Another question is, the file is for proficient teacher. Where is the file for highly proficient teachers? Yan, di natin nakahanapan kung minsan. Now, after downloading, the default file is for proficient teachers. Pag dinownload nyo, ang default file na nakikita natin ay yung proficient teachers. So, anong gagawin natin? Let us just select from the position field in part 1 of the encoding sheet. So pag na-select natin yung position, ilalagay lang natin yung position natin, and then automatic na pupunta po sa highly proficient. Okay? Yung drop-down option naman, ito ang isang question pa, for level taught, yung mga tinuturo natin, and grade level taught do not appear. Ano ang gagawin po natin? So, start by filling out the fields muna for our region, division, and school information. Okay? That is on the rightmost column of the demographic portion. Particularly ito, hanapin nyo si curricular classification field. Okay? Another question. Ito naman ang question ng isang or mga frequently asked question ng ating school, senior high school teachers. I am a senior high school teacher. What option shall I choose for subject taught in the demographic field and in the subject for COT? So ang gagawin lang po ninyo, dear senior high school teachers, i-select nyo lang po yung discipline directly related to the senior high school subject you are teaching. Okay? Another question is, what will I choose for school size? Okay? Yan, medyo nagkakalituhan kung minsan yan. Now, for the sole purpose for this IPCRF or electronic IPCRF for 2019-2020, the school size parameters will adhere to our 2020 Brigada Eskwela Implementing Guidelines. So, nakapaloob dyan sa DM 032 series of 2020. Ito po yung kanyang detailed ng school size. Okay? Makikita natin sa columns under category. Malalaman natin based on the number of teachers and then number of teachers in NCR. So yung national dito tayo. Okay? Kapag small school, andyan, 9 and below, small school kayo. Kapag medium school, 10, between 10 to 29. Okay? And then large school, 30 to 50. Now, notice that in a school size, meron tayong small, medium, large, very large. Pero, tignan po ninyo yung sa very large, specifically, ito ay tawag natin under category mega school. That's 51 and above number of teachers. Okay? For the elementary. For the secondary naman, we can identify the category of our school based on our number of teachers also. So nakikita natin sa screen natin para malaman natin kung saan tayo or kung anong school size ang ating school. Okay? Okay. Another question. There are restrictions in the employee number. Na-natin kanina ito. What shall I do? So ganito ang gagawin po natin, dear teachers. The file currently uploaded in the link has no restrictions in the employee number. So please download again please download again. Then if you have downloaded before 4 of May 2020. Another question. Which will I choose in level taught or grade level taught and even the subject taught? First priority, ito yung priority. First priority is your plantilla or appointment based. Okay, so alam naman natin nito kung ano yung under plantilla natin at yung appointment based natin. That's our first priority. Second priority lang po yung majority of the number of teaching loads. Okay? Another question, I cannot edit parts 1, 2, and 3 sheets. What will I do? Wag ho kayong magpakamatay. Ang gagawin lang po ninyo, these sheets are protected for any editing and R automatic outputs after all fields in the encoding sheets or tabs are accomplished and finalized. Okay? So only the encoding sheet or tab and part 4 sheet are open for editing and encoding. Okay, so lahat po ng problema may solusyon. So, what if I did not complete all 4 classroom observations? Okay. So, kanina ang required lang ay 3. Okay? Enter only the ratings available at hand. Okay? Huwag niyo kong ipilit kung wala po tayong ilalagay. Leave the entire COT columns na walang no available rating unfilled. Huwag ko kayong mag-invento ng ilalagay. No need to look this COT column. So the quality under quality rating will still compute automatically. For the efficiency rating, you can read the M45 series of 2020. Okay, another question. What if I have 4 COT rating sheet available? Paano kung 4 na? Meron na kayong available na 4 COT. Okay? For those with COT4 ratings, the rater and ratee shall agree to whether or not it will be encoded in the electronic IPCRF. So, napakalinaw po dito. So, there will be agreement with the rater and ratee. So, the agreement shall primarily consider natin yung advantage and benefit of the ratee. Eh, hindi si rater lang ang nasusunod, hindi rin si ratee ang nasusunod, kundi mag-usap po kayong dalawa. Okay? So, ayan, ang mga tanong po natin. Sana kung may tanong pa kayo, you can put that in our chat box, and then later on, we'll be dealing with with those different questions also. Okay? Okay. Meron nakikita kaming mga questions on the chat box and even texting us for the questions, and it will be answered later after the sessions. Take down notes po ng ating mga moderators, and all questions will be answered later. Okay? So with that, thank you so much once again. Thank you, Ma'am Karen.
Thank you, Ma'am Ellen.
Thank you very much, Madam Ellen. And now for the second session, let's proceed to the second session, the EIPCRF data submission and monitoring, to be given to us by no other than the Education Program Supervisor of the HRDD, Sir Liberato T. Umangay Jr.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Karen. Good morning. Morning pa ba or tanghali na? Magandang tanghali po sa ating lahat. Naririnig po ba ninyo ako?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much po. Can you see my slides? I believe okay naman.
Okay, sir.
Okay siya.
Thank you. Once again, good day. My task is to present and demonstrate IPCRF data submission and monitoring system. After Sir Jerry had walked you through on the accomplishment of the IPCRF e-tool, I believe everyone is now ready to submit the teacher's IPCRF files, which we requested you to download and accomplish for us to use today. Before going to discuss the different steps, on how to submit and later the actual demonstration and hands-on simulation, I would just like to give you a quick information about the system which we are to use. That IPCRF data submission and monitoring system is a web application made in Google Apps script intended for the collection of a complete prescribed IPCRF form file and data. This is powered by Google Apps script, written in JavaScript. We have it there, displayed through HTML. It uses Google Drive as file storage and Google Sheet for the database. Thus, we are very sure of the security of our data once we're going to make use of this system. This is hosted by Google, and of course, it is free. I just want to show how the system works. This slide shows how the collection and monitoring process take place. At the school level, here in the orange box, okay, the school head should be the one to submit the complete IPCRF files. But due to some circumstances, especially the pandemic we are in, he or she may assign someone or together with him to submit the said data. Submission is done at the school level, I repeat, through the school head or the assigned uploader. And the school head and the uploader can only view their own submission. That if they have 10 teachers, they will only be able to submit 10 teachers and later view their submissions, which would now be in the same figure, which is 10. While monitoring is for the division office, regional office, and the central office monitors. In the school's division offices, the SGOD chief, the SDO RPMS focal person can only access the data submitted by the school heads, while HRDD chief and the regional RPMS focal person can only monitor the submissions from the different schools in this SDOs, and the central office through BHRO, DHRDD monitors the nationwide submission. Restrictions have been imposed during monitoring and submission processes. That in here, for you, the school head, to submit, or your assigned personnel, we have to make use of the link here below. And that is https://bit.ly/IPCRF system submit. While the SDO, RO, and of course the central office can make use of this link, https://bit.ly/IPCRF monitoring. And in here, the school head or the assigned uploader in the school can never see this monitoring link. There are quick steps on how to access the link and to submit the IPCRF forms. Okay. Okay. The first one is open the link for IPCRF submission. So as earlier mentioned, we have their https bit.ly/IPCRF system submit. And you can only access this link making use of your DepEd email address. To underscore, you can only make use of this link. You can only access this link making use of your DepEd account. No more, no less. So you have to provide your login details, of course, your DepEd email address, and later your password. And once you have keyed in the needed data, then this prompts up in your window. So we have there the IPCRF submission form for school year 2019-2020. But before you're going to submit, as the school head, you have to make it sure that all the different IPCRF submitted by your respective teachers must be accurate and complete. Complete in the sense that all the different blanks to be filled in part 1, 2, and 4, and all the parts which need rather to be finalized would be finalized. Accurate in the sense that whatever the answer to that particular blank should be the answer. Kaya dapat accurate na talaga siya. Okay. Once you have already organized the data, then they are now ready for uploading. So we have here now the interface that would enable us to upload and submit the IPCRF data. For now, the system can only accept individual uploading, but not for batch uploading. That we need to click the upload file here, browse for the file you want to submit, and upload from the directory or from where the files of the teachers have been saved. The system has to meet one of the different considerations in such a way that you will be able to successfully submit. The first one, that is by giving complete and accurate data. Once you click upload IPCRF file here, and the system will be able to find out that it would be okay, then what prompts would now be here? Success. The file selected is already finalized, it says there, and ready to upload. And in there would be successful submission or uploading. Secondly, this pops up when the system detected incomplete action in the form selected. Don't worry, because the system will tell you what to do next. That when you look at the status, we'll be able to see that part 1, the IPCRF form had been finalized. Part 4, the development plans had been finalized, but not for part 2, the core behavioral competencies. So since there is an unsuccessful submission or uploading, what shall we do next? The school head will return the IPCRF file submitted by the teacher. The teacher has to do the necessary remediations, that is, in this particular case, to tick the core behavioral competencies the teacher demonstrates, and after that, finalize this part 2. Then after accomplishing, the teacher returns back for submission to the school head. Okay. Another would be this version error, wherein version error occurs when the system detected that you are browsing the old version. That in this particular instance, your teacher might have used the old version before May 4. Okay? So what will you do? As the school head, and as mentioned by Sir Jerry, you have to download and replicate the files, give it to the teacher concerned, let him or her finalize parts 1, 2, hanggang 4, until such time that finalized na siya, then it would be given back to you for submission or uploading. So this is the third time we're going to tell you that you have to make use of the IPCRF file with version of being uploaded May 4, 2020. Another file error would occur when the file selected is not a DepEd prescribed IPCRF file. Okay? So other than the IPCRF file, perhaps you have clicked on an Excel file, but then it is not an IPCRF file, and in there the system would be telling that there would be file error. And we have here another file error when the Excel extension file or file extension, would not be the correct one. Sir Gary made mention on his first slides that the IPCRF file must contain the file extension .xlsm, not .xlsx and .xls. Again, since the system would not accept, so you have to download the file, give it to the teacher for necessary filling up of the needed data, finalize, and later give it back to you as the school head. Okay. Then once everything would be organized, would be okay, would be ready, then you need to click submit. And after which, a notice will pop up telling us for a successful submission. So a congratulatory message would be there, compensating our efforts in the organization, and of course, in looking at the different files of our teachers. Okay. We should be having the actual demonstration, but due to lack of time, gagawin natin mamaya. I would just want to direct it to the submission before we can have the actual demonstration. So we are already done with the process or the steps on how to submit. Now we proceed on how the SDOs, the regional office, and the central office would be monitoring the files the teachers, the school heads would be submitting. Again, this is for the SDO, RO, and central office only. We have to open the link for monitoring of IPCRF submission, which is https://bit.ly/IPCRF monitoring. And again, this can only be opened or accessed making use of DepEd email. So for now, I believe you know now the importance of having required view of your DepEd email. So once the requisites are provided, the login details, then what prompts rather would be this one. So this is a dashboard from the central office in which they will be able to see or monitor which regions have submitted, from the regions to the division, division to the school to the teachers. So that is at the central office level. So madali lang po ang mag-submit. Madali din lang po ang mag-monitor. So that is how we'll be having it. So now, we're going to do the actual demonstration that we requested you in our email for you to download the IPCRF file for us to use today. Further, we also requested you to have a hands-on and to try filling out the needed data, the needed things to be placed in the IPCRF file. So granting that you have already done such, then we are now ready to submit. Okay. So in here, we have to make use of the link as we've earlier said, such that we shall be able to submit. Okay. So I am now logging in or accessing our link. And needed, as we've said earlier, would be my DepEd email and my password. Okay? So there. Let us see what prompts. Can you see the IPCRF data submission form for school year 2019-2020? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So we have there now. So from this, we can now upload the IPCRF files which we have earlier organized. So what shall we do? May we have a review? After logging in, after accessing the link, then we need to click upload IPCRF file here, the green one, correct? So we have there. After clicking upload IPCRF file here, and the system accepts the file we are submitting, then we have to click submit. After clicking submit, then we will do the same repetitively. Okay, let's try. So we're going to click upload IPCRF file here. Okay? So we're going to look into where our files of the teachers had been saved. I have here the first teacher who submitted. And I have clicked it, and it says, please wait. System is checking your file. Okay. And what does it say? The file selected is already finalized and ready to upload. So since there is a successful submission, we now click OK. After clicking OK, we proceed to the submit button. So click the submit button. And there, uploading, it says. Please wait, system is uploading your file. And there, congratulations, your IPCRF data has been uploaded successfully. So we are to click OK. And finally, the file of teacher A, I do not know kung sino yung kasi clinic ko lang, i-view natin mamaya, had been uploaded successfully. That's just for one. As we've said earlier, the system only accepts individual uploading. So if you have 50 teachers under your care, then you need to do it 50 times. So in such a way that you will be able to have it, it would be under your creativity in such a way that you will be able to have some others to upload the needed file. So strategy na po ni school head kung paano niya i-submit at i-upload. So we need to repeat. Submit data. Then upload IPCRF file here. We need to look at the file for the second teacher. And there. Please wait. System checking your file. Okay? And it's successful. So we click OK. Let's see if we will be able to submit. Yes, it's uploading. And lo, we have there the congratulatory message telling us that the IPCRF data which we have uploaded had been successfully uploaded. And there, further. I still have two other teachers here to submit. So I'll do the same. Click upload IPCRF file here. Locate for the directory or where you have saved. You click and wow, sorry, sabi dito. The system detected incomplete action in the form selected. Please see below for details. And the status further tells us that none of the parts had been finalized. None daw, meron palang dalawa. We have part 1 and part 4, but part 2 was not finalized. So since the system does not accept it, so we need to click OK. return to sender. Okay. Meron pa pong isa na isasubmit. So again, click Upload IPCRF file, the green button. Then click for the last file. And worse, not one from the parts had been finalized. So what shall we do? Since hindi tinatanggap, i-click natin ang OK and return the file back to the sender. Now, after that, we may view the submissions we had by clicking the orange button here, View Submission. Then this prompts in your screen. Then we are to select the region you are in. So of course, we are in region 2, so we click Cagayan Valley. Browse for the files you have submitted. I repeat, you can only see what you have submitted. So if there are 3 assigned uploaders, for instance, in the school, then only the uploader can see his or her own files submitted. So pag tatlo, pag hindi ginamit yung DepEd email, hindi po pwede. Okay. So we have there, system found for records you submitted. And we click OK. Bakit 4 ang nakita niya samantalang 2 lang yung successful submission? Ayan. There are 2 files of Teacher Mary C. Candido. And there are also 2 files submitted for Teacher JR. So what shall we do? Since we are only required for 1, so we click delete. Of course, delete it. And click again delete. Are you sure? Sabi niya. So we're going to have 8. I may delete error. Okay. So there. The IPCRF file has been successfully deleted. So we click OK. Okay. So may 3 na lang na natira. Ngayon, tingnan natin kung yung 3 would still be the same. Yes. Teacher Mary Candido, 2 pa rin ang files na submit. So i-delete natin ulit siya. I-delete natin yan until such time that it would have to be removed. But if the net is not so good, okay, so ayan. Success. Ang deletion natin is successful. And finally, we have here the file of Teacher Mary Candido and Teacher JR. So dadalawa na lang po yung naiwan. And we can see it on the submission portion at the right upper hand corner of the window. So submissions here would be 2. So again, dadalawa pa lang ang successful na na-submit. Meron pa akong 10. So we need to repetitively do the same process. Submit data, upload IPCRF file here, then submit, and of course, do it for the number of times you are to submit, the number of teachers, the number of files of teachers you have at your hand. Okay. So that is how submission is being done. Now we go to the monitoring. How do we monitor in the regional office? Okay. So I have to log in using my DepEd email address, provide my password, and this one would now prompt on your screen. So ito na po ang ating regional office dashboard, wherein we can see the submissions made by the schools division offices, and of course by the teachers. So from this dashboard, we can see that as of 12/18 now, we have 976 teachers who have submitted their IPCRF files from 146 schools, and these 146 schools come from 6 SDOs. Coming from Cagayan, Kawayan City, Ilagan, Nueva Vizcaya, and we have here other. Hindi naman na-specify kung ano yung other. Siguro hindi po nakalagay ang schools division office niya. Going down, tingnan natin from the SDOs, meron na po dito yung column for the school. There it is. The school ID, the name of the teacher, and the one who submitted the file. Okay. So we have here from Isabella, submitted by Orlando Nicolas Jr. from the school with ID 103123. The school was not identified. School name lang po ang nandito. And of course, the last name, the first name, and the middle initial of the teacher had not been there. So ang ginawa siguro dito was that instead of writing the full name of the school, nagsulat lang siya ng dot, nag-click lang siya ng dot, or shall we say, just something that would fill in the needed data. Likewise with the name, naglagay lang siya ng isa doon, then ito na po ang lumabas sa ating monitoring. That's why I was warning you that you have to see to it that all the files submitted by your respective teachers must be accurate and complete. So we have one from Quirino, uploaded by Sir Felipe Felimendo, and that comes from Pinaripad National High School with a school ID of 30663 from teacher Elaine May Gonzalez. And still, going down further, nakikita po natin na ang mga ito ay nandito na. Nakapag-submit na po ang ating ibang school heads. Okay, but for now, I'd like to tell you that the submissions you made earlier will be deleted as soon as the new memo would be issued on the formal date of submission for school year 2019-2020. That if the memo to be issued within this week or next week would tell us that the formal start of submission would be on August 1, for instance, all files submitted before August 1 would be deleted because we shall be using the same file for the submission. The same link, for the submission. So, yung mga ginagawa at isinasubmit ng mga teachers nyo ngayon, i-save nyo sila para sa ganon, meron kayong isasubmit later on when the memorandum will be issued. So clear po yun, ha? Okay. We move on. So, kung wala na tayong question as to IPCRF submission and monitoring, then I believe we are ready for the demonstration. Simulation. Okay na po tayo. So as said earlier, you have been requested to download a file. From the file, you're going to do the necessary filling up. And now, if you are ready, then let us upload the files. So tapos na po tayo sa ating data submission lecture, and we are now ready for simulation. So it will be up for you to do the simulation and later tell us if you were able to submit or not. If not, don't worry because we still have much time. You still have much time. You practice submitting, you practice uploading until such time that you will be able to perfectly submit a file. Okay? So we're going to do the simulation for 5 minutes. Please never leave us because there would still be other things for us to talk about. Okay, so enjoy po. Balik po tayo after 5 minutes. And while submitting, we'd like to let you enjoy with the music. Okay, kumusta po tayo? Hello po. May nakapag-submit po ba sa atin?
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Submit po.
Good afternoon. Hello, sir.
May nakapag-submit po sa atin?
I-fill up pa lang, sir.
Ay, fill up pa lang. Okay. So since time is limited, we're just given 5 minutes for that particular task. Then I believe we have to continue and start doing that later after this webinar, then we may conclude. Meron po umaagaw ng ating system. Pakimute po ang microphone natin. Salamat po. Nag-feedback kasi. Okay, for emphasis sake, we have here the links we are to use in the submission. We have https :/bit.ly/IPCRF system submit. So ayan po. So if there are questions which you would wish to raise pertaining submission and pertaining to the accomplishment of the IPCRF, you just type it in the chat box in such a way that if we will be able to see it, then we shall be answering it. Okay? So before we shall answer some of the queries, let's have the next slide. The slide shows the roles and responsibilities of the rater and the ratee in the accomplishment of the IPCRF. As clearly discussed by Sir Je, the rater has to do 1, 2, 3, and 5, while the ratee would be doing number 4. But earlier, it was said that due to the pandemic, a strategy would now be used by the rater and the ratee. And to further have it, ito po, to reiterate that it is the principal or the school head, the head teacher, the TIC, or the assigned personnel who has to submit the accomplished IPCRF files using the said link. Further, let's move on. Who does what? So we have this slide that the focal office or person is here, are here. We have the task or the activities, a comparison between 2019, 2020, and 2018-2019 school years. During the previous school year, the ratee just submitted their portfolio. Then the raters, to include the master teacher, the head teacher, the TIC, the OIC, and the school head, did the conference with the ratee on the final rating agreement and in the crafting of the development plan. So there. Ayan po. But I'd just like to direct your attention to the last column. That is for the school year 2019-2020. The task or the activity presented there does not have any demarcation line between the ratee and the rater, which means that the ratee and the rater have to collaboratively work in such a way that the ratee would be able to finalize his or her RPMS portfolio, give it to the rater for evaluation, then there would be the ratee-rater accomplishment of the IPCRF, as earlier mentioned, which would further be used to determine or for them to agree on the final IPCRF rating of the ratee. And finally, for the rater to help the ratee craft his or her development plan in the part 4. Okay? So I repeat, collaboratively, the ratee and the raters do these things. While below, we have the school head. So walang nakalagay doon na master teacher. Walang nakalagay na whatever. That the master teacher has to do the harvesting of the electronic and printed IPCRF file of teachers. that he shall be the one to submit electronic IPCRFs to the central office via online IPCRF data collection system, print the IPCRFs ratings, then bring it to the division office for the signing of the approving authority. So nakalagay dito, nandito rin lang tayo sa approving authority. May nakita akong question doon kanina. Sinong approving authority? Si school head ba? Based from this slide? Okay, isipin po natin. But if you are not yet, hindi pa kayo kontento dito, please refer to DepEd Order number 2, series of 2015. May nagtanong din, ang rater daw si master teacher. The master teacher only rates in the classroom observation. Okay po? So balikan natin ang ating DepEd order. Then after the approving authority had signed at the SDO level, then the school head may retrieve the signed IPCRF for filing purposes. Moving on, the Human Resource Development section of the SDO chief and SDOs would be the one to monitor the schools submitting. And at the regional level, we are to monitor the SDOs submitting. Okay? And at the central office, there we have it. They'll be able to monitor too the submission. Besides monitoring, or after monitoring, they will be doing the analysis and interpretation of the national IPCRF data. Okay? And further, submission of RPMS data analysis and interpretation results to NEAP for HR development planning. That the results would be furnished to SDOs and regional offices. But while waiting for this, SDOs and the ROs to be furnished with the development plan, pwede ba nating gawin sa school level? Well, of course po. As the teacher submits, nakaprint po tayo, then we shall be able to determine the rating of the teacher across its objective. For objective 1, si teacher A, anong kanya naging rating? Si teacher B, teacher C, and so on. From objective 1 to objective the last, makukuha naman po yung final rating. Then in there, the school head would be determining kung ano yung final rating ni teacher. Okay? And what would be the use of these results? So from these slides, we have the uses. We have the raters will use this result for them to identify and provide the interventions needed by the teacher based on the development needs identified. The performance management team would identify potential praise awards nominees for categories of the different awards giving bodies. For the praise committee to determine the top performers of the agency who qualify for awards and incentives, and for BHROD and NEAP to consolidate, coordinate, provide development interventions which shall form part of the HR plan and basis for rewards and incentives. Okay, at the school level, we shall be able to determine how many teachers got which rating in which objectives at each position or subject area. So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. Which objectives should be considered as learning and development priorities based on the school-wide consolidated IPCRF data. Further, what learning and development activities and programs can be developed to immediately address the needs of the teachers? And most importantly, how can you, the school head, improve your instructional supervision plan or mechanism to support your own teachers? At the SDOs, RO, and central office levels, we shall be answering which objectives using these results. Which objectives should be considered as learning and development priorities? And what interventions can be provided to schools to support and improve teachers in terms of content and pedagogy, curriculum delivery, and coaching and mentoring. The next slide sums up the uses of the RPMS data. That the RPMS data would be used to determine the strengths and the priority for development or the weaknesses, weaknesses for the teachers, That analyzing these strengths and priority for development, we shall be able to provide interventions. From the interventions, once delivered, surely would give a professionally developed teacher, armed with the activities, ready for rewards and incentives. Okay? For our ways forward, after this webinar, then what shall we do next? The school head may do online orientation activities for teachers, and the school head may practice submitting online. So, ayan. But for this week, we have included teachers coming across divisions to attend this webinar in such a way that they'll be able to know what to do. Likewise, the PSDSS were also invited in such a way na iisang tuhog na lang po tayo para wala ng questions later on. With the school heads, with the ICT coordinators, master teachers, and the teachers, then we shall be able to do this. Okay? Collaboratively due to the pandemic, kahit man sinabi doon na school head, then it will be up for you to have your own strategy. Okay? But as we shall be having the practice submitting online, we need to watch out for DepEd Memo number 45, series of 2020. Okay, so we have here the memo on UN RPMS 2019-2020 activities with adjusted timeline. So kararating lang po niya, and we have here DepEd Memorandum PHRODF 2020-609. Jerry just handed it to me. And the subject is updates on the results-based performance management system for school years 2019-2020 and 2020-2021, dated June 16, 2020, from Undersecretary Jesus L.R. Mateo. So if you do not have this yet, please download, or we shall be sending a copy through your group chats, through our group chats, in such a way that we shall be able to be guided on what to do for the submission and the other activities we shall be having. Of course, we need not to forget DepEd Memo number 45, series of 2020. As reiterated by Ma'am Ellen and Sir Jerry, we need to have the copy such that we need a guide on how we are going to submit, and of course, further processes for this IPCRF. Watch out also for the issuance of memorandum on the RPMS 2020-2021 for school-based personnel and memo on RPMS calendar year 2020 for non-school-based personnel. So I have seen a question earlier, what about the head teachers? Sabi doon, head teachers will not be using this RPMS or IPCRF e-tool po. But it would only be from teacher 1 to master teacher 4. Where shall they get their CRA, their objectives? Since the head teachers are aiding or assisting the school head, it would now be the agreement between the head teacher and the school head if what percentage shall they be having from the CRA of the school head and from the subjects they are teaching. Because head teachers, I believe, have their own load. So kung sabi nila na hati-hati or more, halimbawa dadalawa lang yung load ni head teacher o kaya isa lang, then it would be up for them to have an agreement on how they will be crafting or they will be coming up with the IPCRF of the head teacher. So the head teacher's IPCRF would come from the teachers group, particularly the objectives, from the teachers and from the school heads. Okay po? Wala pa po. We are just waiting for the memo regarding school-based personnel. Okay. To wrap up, we promise to share you the Google Drive with the slides used in the webinar. In fact, we have sent some already. And the IPCRF Data Collection System user guides, which we requested you to download. But if you do not have them yet, we shall be providing you, siguro mga launa mamaya, after lunch, the files for you to be using in your accomplishment of e-tool, and for the school head to be guided also on the accomplishment with the submission process. That is, I was saying that we promise to give you this if you are to accomplish the e-attendance and the evaluation form. We are not going to give you or send you the copy if you cannot have your e-attendance, you cannot log in, and you cannot have the online evaluation through the link https://cat.ly/9ynrhp7. That we are requesting you to please encode your details accurately and carefully, such that what would be printed in your digital certificates would be your real name. Further, we are requesting you to provide us your land bank account number. Huwag niyo pong sabihin wala kayong land bank account number dahil doon po tayo sumusahod. Please give us whether it is savings account or current account and the correct account number, such that when our request will be approved to give you load allowance or communication allowance for staying this long, then it would be through your ATM where we are going to direct your load allowance. We are going to compensate your efforts in attending this training. So dapat po sabihin natin kung SA siya, kung CA siya, number. Okay po? And to further request you to accomplish this up to this afternoon. We are also providing you links for the 2019-2020 materials. So we have it here. Please visit the links, download the files, share to your teachers who are not able to attend this webinar or to your co-teachers such that they will also be having these same materials. Okay? And if you should have queries, if questions have not been addressed by us right now, please direct it to the SDOs muna bago kami. But if you think that nakaka-access kayo, please don't hesitate to email us with this address, hrdd.region2@deped.gov.ph. The questions which you have raised earlier will be answered soon. So yung mga nagtatanong dito, JM, can I have a copy? Or mamaya na lang po, before we shall leave, para at least ma-maintain yung attendance natin before leaving this webinar. Okay, so at this point, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank each of you, our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one who stayed this long, and of course, to have his parting message, Sir Gary. Sir, ka ba?
Yes.
Okay. So may we welcome Sir Gary once more for his parting message.
So thank you very much, Sir Lib. Before we end this webinar, and as a parting message, first of all, I'd like to thank you for the warm response to this webinar session. Thank you also to RD Estela Carino, SDS Flor de Lisa Hecobe, and of course ASDS Julie Trus for supporting this initiative for our teachers. to SGOD Chief Ma'am Elenita Ugot, and of course to our counterpart in the division of Quirino, Sir Felipe, and Ma'am Grace or Karen Grace Celestino for co-managing this webinar. Thank you so much. To you, our dear participants, thank you also for your active participation and of course for allowing your teachers to attend this webinar. This means a lot for them or to them as they are the recipient of this tool or system. I also would like to recognize our district supervisors who are in attendance to this webinar. Thank you for taking part in this endeavor. I hope that through your attendance, there will be no more confusions in the field as we shall implement the adjustments to the performance management system for our teachers. This is the work dynamics that we would like to happen at the school level. The school head and PSDS complementing each other and supporting our teachers. I wish you good luck as you will further explore this system with your teachers through your school-based learning action cell. My only caution is for you to have the right messaging. Explain to them that we are doing this so that you would be able to gather the right data. Because once we have the right data, we would be able to plan, develop, design, and deliver the right intervention for their continuing professional development. Again, keep everyone safe and healthy. Thank you very much and have a happy lunch.
Do we still have that SDS po? Ma'am Flor, thank you very much. Ma'am Julie, Ma'am Ellen, thank you very much for being our speaker. Okay, Ma'am Julie and Ma'am Karen. Ma'am Karen, up to you.
Yes, Sir Liber, may we request the participants who are still in Google Meet to please cut off your microphones. We will have final announcements from our HRTD team po. Madam Marisa Danag, kindly turn off your microphone. We can hear you from here. Sir Carlo Martin Sanchez, we can hear you from here po. Please turn off your microphone.
Gusto pa at iyak na something nagpaborito lockdown.
Maybe we can have our IT team.
Dapat makakma dito.
Please participant.
Nawid na kabigatan. Nawid na
Thank you very much, Sir Philip, Ma'am Ellen.
Thank you very much, Sir Chief, Sir Jerry.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ma'am Karen, Sir Philip, Ma'am Ellen.
Please do not forget to evaluate and review the attendance. May announcement pa po. Okay, so if okay na po tayo, then maybe we have here the last slide, which reads, as the pace of change increases in every aspect of our lives, HR professionals have become change champions in many companies around the world. And this has generally been matched to their employer's advantage. If it says there, match to their employer's advantage, how much more to the recipients, the employees, the teachers, and most importantly, our learners. Para sa bata, para sa bayan. Thank you very much to everyone. Good day to everyone.
That's very well said. Once again,
Ma'am Karen,
Sir Liber, Sir Jerry, and thank you very much for sharing your time, your talent, and your expertise. This has been a very fruitful webinar where our focus goes, our energy goes. Marami pong salamat. Mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye po.
Bye po. This has been Sir Philip, joined by Ma'am Karen and the rest of the team.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Ma'am Flo. Thank you, Ma'am Stella.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po. Thank you for the enlightenment.
Thank you, Sir Jerry.
Thank you.